Good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Mind Body Connection on Island Zone Radio, brought to you by the kind compliments of the Caribbean Voice, a non-profit organization that deals with suicide prevention and domestic violence, among many other things. Well, good evening, guys. How are you guys doing today? Today we have here in studio our guest from last week. Welcome again, my friend.
Wow, thank you. Nice to be here again, once again.
Well, yes, it's kind of raining outside now. I'm sorry that we were 15 minutes late, but, nevertheless, we are still here. A couple of things that came to my attention today. One of them that, an 8-year-old girl was left with her uncle in Guyana, in quarantine. And you know what? The uncle raped that little girl. The good thing, I don't want to say good thing, but the incident was reported to the police. What the child did, the right thing. When the mother came home, the child told the mother exactly what was happening. And now, the proper authorities was notified. And so now that guy is in custody and, it's in the right hands. And I want to say that's the right thing to do. When this kind of assault happen, the best thing to do is let the police deal with it. Don't chop anybody or don't commit any more crime, right?
Yeah, look, sometimes, especially when it's your child involved, I'm a dad. So if somebody do something to my daughter, if she got a nick in her finger, I want to cry.
Yes.
But if anybody do something, if you take things into your own hand, what happens is, even though your kids suffer now, you go to jail for, because you want to take the law into your hands. So the best thing to do is get the authorities involved as soon as possible, get some help for the child and so on. This way your family can move on and get some healing,
Absolutely. Also, another good thing that happened, it's bad, but then it ended up good. A woman she jumped over the bridge, the Hellgate Bridge, the bridge that connects the Bronx into Queens.
Yeah.
And so a young man was jogging, and as he was jogging, he saw her, and he jumped right into action and saved the woman. She was having hallucinations, and so thank God that somebody was there to save her. Also, I want to say that, please don't forget that the Caribbean Voice is still collecting school supplies, books, computers, sports equipment for the school project. Please don't forget us. You can call Anand Budram, myself, or Shanaz, and we can always come pick up your stuff. Or you can always donate any kind of cash to the Caribbean Voice. You can always go to our page and you will find a link where you can make your donations. Also, in Guyana, that, the age where you can give consent for sex is 16. And so the Caribbean Voice is saying, we need to raise that to 18. So what do you think about?
Look, because of some of the social issues that are going on in Guyana, I'm not a sociologist or I don't know all the details of everything, but because of some of the social practices and the problems that we're having in the community, maybe changing the age might be a good thing at this point in time. Also continuing with the sex education and so on in school. And always, parents, play a huge part in this. Let your kids know, bring, like the young lady, the little girl telling her mom, if these things happen, you gotta, you can't keep on the inside. You gotta go tell somebody, tell an adult, tell your parents. This way it doesn't continue to happen, or if it gets to that point, at least people are aware of what's going on and they can step in as quickly as possible to help.
Absolutely. And so we are saying from the Caribbean Voice that we should reach to raise that age to 18. And so we have a petition going on. And if you can sign that petition, you can always go to the Caribbean Voice website and we will lead you to sign that page. So that's a good thing. Also, don't forget, if you want to make any kind of donation to the Caribbean Voice, please feel free to do so. It's a good thing. It's going to go for a good cause.
Every little dollar helps, whatever they can give. You don't have to be, like 100 or 1,000, just whatever counts. Every little piece helps, that they say back home, one dot your bill down, one thing at a time,
You are absolutely correct. Also, this weekend on Saturday, April 27th is Chutney Wine. And why I bring up Chutney Wine is because they're supporting the Caribbean Voice. I have to say thank you to all the guys that's coming together to make this happen. You will have some good singing, some good dancing. You have Himat Somai from Suriname. You have Reshma Tiwari from Suriname. Adesh Samaru from Trinidad. Priyanka is going to be here from Suriname. The man Apache Warrior. You have my new Facebook friend Sonia Deosaran. I know she lives upstate in Schenectady. You have W.R. Reyes, Sushila Devi. We just play her song. Damon Sukram, Sheila Basdev. You know, I heard Sheila Basdev sing when I was a little boy, and now I'm going to get to meet her and see who she is in person. That's a good thing.
Don't go telling the lady you have a crush on her, okay?
No, I don't. But I'm sure with all her experience, it's going to be a fantastic show. Also, Anthony Prasad, I heard him sing, and that's a beautiful thing. He could really sing. We have Rashid Bacchus. And while we're saying about Rashid Bacchus, I would like to say, on behalf of the Caribbean Voice, Rashid Bacchus, I know you just lost your father. On behalf of the Caribbean Voice, we would like to extend to you our deepest sympathy. Yes, it's important, and I know how difficult it is to lose a father. Also, we have the popular man, Sun. I just met him Saturday gone, which is a good thing. And, all of this is brought to you by Chutney Wine. We got your back. It's a fundraiser. Also, we have Sasha is going to dance, Uma Devi. We have the Shiv Kala Dance Academy. We got the Aman Tasa group. They're going to sing. We all have Sarita, Patricia Raghunanan going to be there. And we have to say special thank you to Buddy Singh. He's the man behind all of this. He and his team, Patricia Raghunanan. My girl, Shanaz, I don't know where she is, but she is not in the studio today. We have Kumar Singh. And if you're looking to buy your tickets, you can go to Caribbean Cabana, GT Kingston, Star Music, Golden Cross, Sanita Travels, Big Well Bakery, Mohabir, International Trading, K2 Bar in the Bronx, Bougie, Big Market, Trinity Delight. And also this special concert is going to held at the Amazura Concert Hall, 9112 144 Place in Jamaica, New York. You can call 1-646-320-4991. And let's go to some music as we get you guys to tune in back and enjoy the music.
Yeah, get your tickets.
That's right. It's $25 a ticket. Yes, it's important.
Really, that's economical. And then make it a date night. Get the wife, you go out one night, get the babysitter, whatever the case may be.
Yes.
Support a good cause. It goes a long way. Again, thank you guys.
That's right.
la 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 गुलाबी आंखें जो तेरी देखी शराबी ये दिल हो गया संभालो मुझको ओ मेरे यारो संभलना मुश्किल हो गया दिल में मेरे ख्वाबों तेरे बस तेरे जैसे हूँ दीवार पे तुझ पे फिदा मैं क्यों हुआ आता है गुस्सा मुझे प्यार पे मैं लुट गया मान के दिल क्या कर मैं कहाँ हूँ ना रहा क्या कहूँ मैं दिल रुबा पूरा ये जादू तेरी आँखों का ये मेरा कातिल हो गया गुलाबी आंखें जो तेरी देखी शराबी ये दिल हो गया मैं मैंने सदा चाहा यही दामन बचा लूं हसीनों से मैं तेरी कसम ख्वाबों में भी बचता फिरा नाज़नीनों से मैं तौबा मगर मिल गया तुझसे नजर मिल गया डर के जिगर सुन जरा हो बेकमर जरा सा हंस के जो देखा तूने ये मेरा बिस्मिल हो गया गुलाबी आंखें जो तेरी देखी शराबी ये दिल हो गया संभालो मुझको ओ मेरे यारो संभलना मुश्किल हो गया.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome again to the Caribbean Voice, or program, The Mind-Body Connection. You know, we're going to talk about the second episode of alcohol abuse. But before we go that, I would love to say hello to Ms. Geeta Rampasad, Rajiv Nandalal, Geeta Balde, my friend, who always keeps my company during the week, Avita Danraj, Rajiv Nandalal, yes, he's watching, my friend Arjun Madre, I miss you, I didn't see you a couple of weeks, my friend Jasoda Takurdin, we want to say Deepa Dasrat from all the way from Florida. Thank you for tuning in. I missed you a couple of weeks ago. Dolores Sigobin, my aunt from Hartford City, Connecticut. She will be at Chutney Wine with me. And my special friend John Namat. He's always keeping my company, always keeping it positive. Lee Nye from Florida. Thank you very much for always your support. A special guy here from Lenora, Saudi. His name is Rabindra Budu. Thank you very much. He's from the Bronx. Yes. It's nice to have our Lenore guys supporting us. And, you know, I always want to say thank you very much, so much to Ryan. As you guys know him, DJ Fess. He is the man that makes all of this happen for me. Behind the scene, anytime I'm in problem, I want to say thank you so much, DJ Fess. Anytime I call you, you're always there ready to help me.
Come true tonight.
So, yes, and he did come true. That's why we were late. He's the man who helped us to get on. We have Neela Pawaru, who's been working very hard behind the scene too and representing the Caribbean Voice. Let's see who else. Roseanne Beaumont. She's watching. Thank you very much. You know, I know her name, I know her family, but we have never met. But I know that I keep following her, and I know she's doing a lot of things for our Indo-Caribbean, our Guyanese people. And one of the good things, I see her name popping up all over the place, and she is such an asset to our community. I see Miss Chunilal, Diana Chunilal is watching from Guyana. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Let's see, I don't want to miss anybody.
Deepa, from Suriname I saw just now.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
you're international now.
That's good. I'm glad that you guys are watching. Shabir Baksh, thank you very much, and I appreciate you watching, my friend. I know you have your own Facebook page, and I really appreciate, you know, there was a problem there when he nipped it right in the butt, and I'm so glad that he took that action. So again, so, you know, as we're going to talk today, someone did contact me over the weekend, and they sent me a nice long letter. I'm going to try and read the letter for us here today. But before I do that, I want to tell you guys that, you know, in New York, we Anand Budram did receive today a letter, right? And it says, as part of Alcohol Awareness Month, the Health Department today launched a new media campaign featuring an animated video on how to keep safe when drinking alcohol. The animation depicts a group of friends consuming alcohol safely and having fun night out. It is also available on YouTube, and it is going to be run as advertisement on various social media platforms. The video includes several tips for safer drinking space, alcohol beverages out of overtime, drink a lot of water between alcohol beverages, and also eat a lot of food when drinking alcohol beverages, and take it slow, drink in moderation. You know, in 2016, there were over 110,000 alcohol-related emergency department visits in New York City. In the same year, nearly 2,000 New Yorkers died from this alcohol disease, causing liver disease, drunk driving fatality, and alcohol-related cancer such as liver and esophageal cancer. In 2017, nearly 1 in 5 New Yorkers reported been drinking on at least one occasion in the past month. women are advised to limit themselves to no more than 3 drinks per occasion, and men should have no more than 4 drinks per occasion. Exceeding these limits is considered binge drinking. The video can be viewed in English and in Spanish. So, guys, this is a good thing that you guys could do. Make sure you go online and see it. Also, I want to say New Yorkers should ask healthcare provider if any of the medication that they take interacts with alcohol. The health department recommend alcohol drinking for people who people who drinking should not take oxycodone and codeine, any Xanax, Valium, or Klonopin, because mixing these medication can increase the risk of overdose, which I witnessed a lot of overdose, and I'm sure you heard a lot of stories about overdose, right?
Yeah. I mean, you just got to be careful. Also, alcohol poisoning. If you binge drink, and people don't realize this, if your system is filled with alcohol and you go to sleep, you might never wake up. And people want to know how people die in their sleep, because the body is still, the alcohol is still in there, it's still working, and you're sleeping. If you, that's why when sometimes the cops get you to tell you walk it off or move around, because if you stay still, it just keeps working in your body. You go to sleep and you never wake up.
Yes, and what it does is it suppresses your respiratory status, and so you can sleep and never wake up. And so if you need help for you or your loved ones, you can call New York City Well by calling 188 New York Well, or text Well to 65173. Okay, and it's free and confidential support that's available. And guess what? They have over 200 different languages, so we can't complain.
That's good, yeah.
Exactly. So another thing that I want to talk a little bit, on which you have the experience. What is AA that you know about AA?
Well, it's a disclaimer here. I can't speak for anyone. I can just tell you what I know. Like I told you, maybe we have to get somebody, because all of these, there's various programs out there for help that can help the person who's an alcoholic. There's CA, which is Cocaine Anonymous. There's NA, which is Narcotics Anonymous. There is even Overeaters Anonymous. There are all these different programs out there that are out that would help anyone that has a problem with alcohol or whatever the case may be. There are also programs out there for the family. There are programs out there for the kids. These are all non-profit. There's no fee. There's no dues or whatever the case may be. You can just go to their meetings. They're just other people, just like yourself, and they're there to help. So these programs are based on principles like they call 12-step programs. So anyone can go. Once you find out Queens County, they're all over the United States and actually all over the world.
Right.
So like in Queens, there's a website you can go to. They have a website. They have a phone number that's 24 hours. You can call them. You have these programs even in Trinidad, even in Guyana has them. So it's not just like in the United States or in New York. These are all over the world. And their sole purpose is to help anyone that has a problem. You don't have to pay or anything like that. It's just you go there for help. And, but before you even get there, you need to go through some medical things. So one of the things is if like we talked about last week, is if you have a problem with alcohol, or if you have a family member who has a problem with alcohol, one of the first things is that they have to admit that they need help. Because, a guy can be falling over drunk all the time, but if he thinks he doesn't have a problem, he's not going to do anything to change. So usually, you ask them if they need help. Once they say they need help, the first thing is medical attention.
Right. Because
alcohol, like we touched on last week, it affects every facet of the body. Everything is affected, and withdrawal from alcohol, DT, the tremors can literally give you a heart attack, like it's so violent. So the first thing, because we don't want to tell people, just go somewhere and they're going to help you. The first thing, is get them to a detox where the medical professional can detox them properly, give them whatever, the medication name, I don't know.
Right, right.
And they go through that detoxification where they're eased off alcohol very simply by going through a couple, how much days do you guys usually keep it?
You go for detox actually for 3 days.
3 days, right?
Yes.
And then they stay on, like if they still need help.
Right.
And then once you go there, they would usually introduce you to what you need to do, longer rehabilitation,
Right.
20 days,
Yes,
15
yes.
days, whatever. And after that, usually they're introduced to these 12-step programs, okay? So usually they would have a meeting or whatever, come in, and then they would go to a 12-step program. So the programs are designed to help people who seeks help, who needs help, okay? And one of the premise or the most important thing is the person have to accept that they have a problem and they want to get help. And then what they can do is, whatever the program, whatever they recommend, that is what you follow. It's simply a place where you go to have fellow people like yourself,
Right.
or peers who can help you. For example, if I have to go to the gym and work out, and I don't know anything about these machines, I need somebody to show me how to work the machines, right? Same thing. If you want to be a doctor, you go to a school and you go medical school and you become a doctor. You want to be a nurse, same thing. So the same thing with these 12-step programs, right? If you want to stay away from alcohol, if you want to stay away from cocaine, whatever, food, Overeaters Anonymous, you go there and people who have similar problems or went through the similar circumstances, they're able to help you and guide you of what you need to do. Because let's face it, if we all could fix ourselves, we'll all be the whole world would be perfect, but we're not. And one of the things that the alcoholic deals with, and is that they always think they know best. The alcoholic always will tell you that, no, I don't have a problem, I can do it. I'll stop. And they make these promises, all these promises every week. If you have an alcoholic in your family, every week you tell them they drink too much. Every week they're going to tell you this is the last time I would stop.
Right.
Every time it's the last time, right? Your guys that come into probably your facility, you're like, I'm not coming back here again. You'd never see me again.
Absolutely.
What happens, right? In a couple of months, the same guy who walking, what happened this time? Oh, they always have an excuse. They always have an excuse. So that's, and I think the best thing, maybe for these 12-step program, because they have a public information. And I'm glad you touched on the New York City public information or public awareness message. These 12-step programs, they have people who are professionals who can come and they can give you very detailed information of what you need to do and how you can get in touch with them. I know for a fact, United States, every state, almost every county has, they have contact information. It's very easy. You can Google it. If you Google for Alcoholics Anonymous Queens County, you'll find it. If you're in the Bronx, Alcoholics Anonymous Bronx County, wherever you are, Alcoholics Anonymous Trinidad, I don't know Suriname. I think Suriname has, because I know there's somebody from Suriname. So at least you can contact or reach out to somebody who would be able to help you. And that would be the best thing.
Yeah, and one of the good things, Saudi, about going to AA is that, all the guys that go there, is that they all have the same problem. And so nobody's judging anybody who's drinking more than more. You go there in a non-judgmental way to see how other guys are coping with alcoholism. Also, and this is for the client, but we have to, Saudi, I don't know if you're aware of them, but you have all-in-on work. There is no magic formula that enables you to help someone stop or cut back on his or her drinking. Alcoholism is a complex problem with many related issues, but all-in-on can help you learn how to cope with the challenges that someone else is drinking. It may be that you can help matters, but changing some of your own behavior that make things worse. So this is a good, all-in-on is good in terms of for family. This is not for the client or the person who's drinking.
Right. You say client.
Sorry.
It's a professional thing, right? But yeah, the alcoholics, there is a program for the alcoholics, right? And that's AA. Al-Anon, for what I know, is for the family.
Right.
Okay. So if you have a husband who drinks,
Right.
now you don't know how to deal with it. He might still be drinking. You still don't know how to deal with it. So what you can do, same thing like AA. Al-Anon has the same thing. They have an office. They have people. They have meetings. The meetings might be right around the corner from you and you don't even know it, right? So Al-Anon is geared to help the family.
Yes.
All right. Mostly brother, sister, wife, and so on. There's also one which I'm not sure if you found it in your research. It's called Alateen, and that's for the kids.
Wow.
That is for the kids. So usually kids, like, because, if my dad is drinking all the time, right? And I come home and I can't get things, and now I'm maladjusted to life. Like I go to school, all of a sudden I was an A student, but now because of these problems, I'm losing grades. I don't know how to handle it. I'm lashing out at everybody. I have a problem with authority and all of that stuff. So again, all of these programs are geared to help people just like yourself, helping you get through it. So yeah, the Al-Anon. So whether your husband or wife does not want help, or if they want help, it doesn't matter. They can do whatever they do. You can go to these programs. At least you will get better, and you'll be able to deal with it instead of like sitting at home and you don't know what to do. You have nobody to talk to. And one of the worst things is if especially in our community, if the husband is drinking too much, sometimes the wife don't want to tell anybody, right? And that stems from a number of things. Embarrassment. If you say something, he might lash out at you physically, violently, whatever. You don't want to tell anybody because of pride. What are people shame? What people are gonna say about my family? They're gonna tell me I married this guy. And you know what? We keep saying guy, maybe because I'm a guy, but women drink too.
Oh yes.
And husbands face the same issue too. So let's not just put it on one gender. Okay, this is interchangeable. So. The husband can be facing a wife who's doing the same thing. And that's even worse, because how do you tell somebody, like, my wife is an alcoholic or she drinks all the time? What people are going to think, So all of these things, there's a lot of psychological and social factors that go along with it. The most important thing, though, is what you asked me is what these program entail. All you need to know is the program is there to help you. So, like you asked me, and maybe next time we'll get the person, one of the public information person from these programs to come on here and speak with you. I mean, these programs are anonymous for a reason. People don't tell everybody that they're in these programs, so there's the specific reason for that, and you have to respect it. And that's the thing. So I reached out, and hopefully we will get somebody and they can come on here, because I don't want to speak for them or speak on behalf of them. I want them to come and give that detailed information.
Yes, and I really do think that working in the detox, I see the damages that alcohol really does to a family, and so I want us to have sometime down the road, on behalf of the Caribbean Voice, that we could all sit together and have a good roundtable discussion with all the different guys that could, you could represent someone from AA, yourself, and a couple more guys who run detoxes, some KSAC person who really know so much more about all of these things here. And let's go and read this. John Nimot say, we are blessed, we are free with free will, willpower, common sense. That is why we can make the right choice. I want to say hello to Miss Maharani Dubey. I hope that you're feeling well since I left there today. God bless you, and take it easy. Make sure you drink lots of water and keep yourself hydrated. I also see I'm glad Vimala Prasad is watching, and I'm so glad you're watching. It's always a good thing to have you on, because you have such a wealth of knowledge and information. I can't wait to have you on this program sometime in the near future. Thank you for locking on to this program. We're going to go get some song again. We are playing some songs from the guys who are going to sing in Chutney Wine on this Saturday night. Guys, please support this great organization. They're doing a fantastic job. All the money that they get will be donated to the people, the folks in Guyana and Trinidad and Suriname and so on. And it's for the less fortunate, those who really in need. And so I applaud all of you guys from Chutney Wine. It just speaks volume of these guys doing all of these things, especially some of the singers that's coming from different parts of the world. They're coming there to sing their soul out just for donation. And God will bless all of you.
Yeah, just donate. If you have a little bit, just give, help everyone. Thank you.
Holy Records presents 21 Pump Dance Mix. 70 minutes non-stop. The soup goes up for a second time. Sheila Boston. Shut the music.
Yes, guys, welcome back to the Mind-Body Connection. So you guys want to know who this young man is. I am so proud of him. We're from Lenora together. We are from the same street. His father was a teacher in Lenora and has a wealth of knowledge. His father is Hamid.
Yes.
Teacher Hamid from Lenora. What's your cousin name again? Raymond.
Raymond.
Raymond is his cousin. And you know what? I crossed path with him a couple years ago. Actually, I was working at a detox. I'm still working at detox. And he came to give us some donations. And I asked him, I said, where are you from? Because I know him as a little kid from Guyana. And then he says he's from Lenora. I said, I'm from Lenora too. And I said, which part? And then I said, oh, I know you, man. I know from a little kid who you are. So this is Saudi. And the good thing is that, you know what, I'm so proud of him because he has been helping our community and people who drink a lot. He has all the connection here in Queens where to get help. And we will go and discuss that in a minute. So, Saudi, you can say hello to the guys.
Yeah,
and everyone
hello.
else.
Yeah, good old Lenora. If listen, some people I see your name, but I don't know your right name, so I would know you by your calling name. And I left Guyana a long, long time ago. So people see me now, they're like, "Oh, you're the same kid that used to run around." So yeah, unfortunately, age catch up to me. So yeah, I don't look as young and good looking as I used to back in the day. But yeah, it's me, and I'm still here. And nice to hear from you guys, and nice to see you guys.
Yes, and he is from, he's the small son of Mr. Bodu. Welcome, Miss Maureen Ramcharan. Thank you for tuning in. So you guys, please share the page so that, we could get people to watch this and they could learn from it. Because from my experience, a lot of Guyanese people especially don't know what to do really, especially in this country. And there is so much help that is out there that you can get. I see Lee said, John, I know, I've been there. Some man is so stubborn, my stomach is sick when I think about it. It's not so easy when you were in it to win. And so I think Saudi want to address, to talk about John, to address his thing when he said the guy's stubborn.
Yeah, well, look, it's a disease, all right? It's a physiological disease, so it affects the mind and the body, okay? The body, we know how it affects it. You drink, it breaks down the body. You have that craving for alcohol. Once it's in your system, you want more and more. And we talked about that. The guy starts out at 8 o'clock and he only wants 1 or 2 drink. And then at 12 o'clock, he wants more than 2. You know what I mean? So that's the craving. And there's a whole medical aspect about that, how alcohol gets into your system and it creates that craving. But then there's the obsession, and the obsession has to do with the mind. And the mind is something we think we can control, but we really can't. Because the way it works is this. So let me give you an example, because people say it's willpower, right? A guy can be successful and do everything that he wants in life and be successful because of his willpower. But where alcohol is concerned, the alcoholic has no willpower. And this is how it works. Like, he's going to tell you, I'm not going to drink anymore this week, and then next week he's going to drink. Why? Because where alcohol is concerned, he has no willpower. The mind tells him that he has to drink, and then nothing stops it. And there are people who would wake up in the morning and they're going to say, I'm not drinking today. And then by 5 o'clock, the same guy who you could swear at 9 a.m. he wasn't going to drink, he's drunk. And this is a thing, because it's a mental disease. And the way that works, and people are going to argue every time, well, it's willpower. Okay, so let me give you an example. Take a bar of X-Lax and will yourself not to go to the bathroom. How can you do it? Because the body reacts a certain way. The mind reacts a certain way. So you might say it's willpower, but when it comes to your body, you can't do anything. And the problem, and here's the thing, with the alcoholic, it is genetic. I don't want to get into all the medical thing, but it's proven medical fact that it is a genetic thing. Okay, the alcoholic lack certain genes that break down alcohol and so on and so forth. And then to top it off, 1952, American Medical Journal, American Medical Association. You can Google it. You can check it. I'm not going to tell you something that's not true. Not on this show anyways. And if I don't know, I'll tell you where to go and find the information. But the American Medical Association classified alcoholism as a disease.
That's correct.
And then it started being treated. Prior to that, they treat you like you're a crazy person. They put you in a padded room and they just, shoot you up, belladonna treatment. They give you all these kind of drugs. They use all different kinds of stuff back in the day, and it only started improving after they recognized that it is a disease. So willpower, yeah, well, look, if willpower could have helped, then you wouldn't have alcoholic. If willpower could have helped, you wouldn't have all the drug addicts, okay? And that's just a simple fact. And sometimes it sounds silly. Here's a silly example, right? Open a box of Pringle and try to only eat one. You can never do it. You always want another one. It's not like you have a craving for it. You got to have another one. So, willpower can help in certain, in certain things in certain area. But when you're talking about a disease that's literally killing people, and you say, well, it's mind over matter. Well, guess what? It doesn't mind, and you don't matter, because if you drink and you drink to the excess where it starts damaging your body, you're gonna start feeling the effects of it. And that's the thing with alcohol; it doesn't kill you right away.
Right.
It's a slow death. It's a rapacious credit. It'll take everything from you. You can take the wife away. You can take the husband away. You can take your job away. Because, if you're not working, you got more time to drink. It's going to take everything from you.
You lose your family.
You lose your family. I mean, there are people walking around. There's a guy, I don't know his name, but one of my friends told me, he says, when he came to New York first time, a long time ago, this guy was dressing in a suit and tie and buying him drinks in bar. And the guy now is a bum on Liberty. I haven't seen him in a while. Don't know if he's still alive. But these are the reality of life. So it's a misconception that it's willpower is what I'm trying to tell you, right? And this is why we're bringing awareness, because if you don't treat it as a disease, it's going to get you. It's like saying, well, let me will myself out of cancer. Ain't going to happen.
Exactly.
You need treatment, right? And that's how it, like you got a cold. Well, let me will myself so I don't cough. Guess what? It's not going to happen. Your body is going to react to it. So that I'm just trying to give you some examples. So the misconception that it's willpower, please put it out of your head, okay? Because you tell a guy who is an alcoholic it's willpower, and he has no willpower, the guy's probably going to kill himself, because he's going to drink. Well, this guy told me it's willpower, and his willpower isn't going to work,
I want to add too, because, I work in a detox unit at North General Hospital for some time. And, it's not only willpower, but the thing is that, and we will talk about safe detox in just a few minutes. The thing is that with alcohol, if you don't get the alcohol to drink, it's very brutal to your body, because what happens is that you will start to get tremors, you can get seizures. It's a very uncomfortable thing to do. So that's why I'm always say that, and we know that sometimes we don't know what it is, and that's why sometimes we make loose comments about things. But when we know better, we should do better. And that's why I'm glad that we are doing this program, Saudi. And I'm so glad that you're part of this so that we can share to our community, our viewers, of what really this is about. Let's say hi to another Lenora man that I probably know your neighbor to him, Dale Moti. He used to live not too far from you. Yeah. And Dale, this is Saudi that used to live right behind of you in Lenora. I'm so glad to see you guys from Lenora here that's supporting this movement. I see Stanley Ramsaran. Thank you very much for tuning in. Always good too. I'm so glad that these guys are supportive. We have Shiv Charan. Thank you for tuning in. First time I'm seeing this name. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope that you continue to tune in to this program. My cousin Shelly Chitlal, thank you for tuning in. I hope that you continue to look at this. Russell Link, he's always helping everyone and supportive to all of us on the air. As I was mentioning before, Saudi, that I received anonymous letter from someone on Facebook, and they wrote a long letter to me. So I'm going to try to read it so you guys would hear. And this is a very, this person is very brilliant, does a lot for the community. Someone who I looked up to at this time. And he says, I started teaching at age 17. One day the guy insisted, his friends said that let them go to the rum shop and drink after work. And he said to them that I don't drink. So they said he will drink a soda. But when he got to the bar, they insisted that he drink the alcohol or else he will have to pay for it. Well, poor guy did not have any money in his pocket. So what he did, he actually ended up drinking. And he used to ride to work right, with his bicycle. So the thing is that for the next 11 years, he lived in the bottle. So, these kind of things is no good. Don't force people to drink. He said, all alcohol consumed almost all my time outside of work. There were days when I had some friends would have to drink during their lunchtime, and they would drink after school was a regular thing for many friends and family. And I would travel sometime from Friday afternoon from Bushlat to Corriton, which is like 30 miles, just to go drink some rum. And then he will actually end up going home on a Sunday. So, and we know you from Guyana. You know too. When I say Guyana, please, it's just because I'm from Guyana. I say this. It's not, I remember those teachers in Guyana, how they used to drink. And your dad was a teacher. So he know all them guys who used to drink, and we always see them. Anyway, he said after a while, I would have these memory blackout and would not be able to remember anything for periods of time when he was drunk, but complaints about the horrible things that he would do when he returned home. He would hear it and his mother would hear it. Each time that happened, he said, I resolved to stop drinking, but I could not. We talk about that. You talk about that just now. The fact is that his monthly salary was going to pay for alcohol month after month, and so he had to pay for the past month, so he's always in debt, and this sent me into depression, and so I drank continually to get rid of the pain and depression. And may I add again, and Sadi, that alcohol does not ease your pain for too long. While you're drunk, it would be yes, but after you sober up, then guess what? You have the same pain. As long as I was drunk, everything was okay. Yet I never liked alcohol. In fact, I hated the taste, but I kept guzzling it to escape the awful realities of my reality. Alcohol made me feel wonderful, and all the problems disappeared that he had while he was drunk. He also said that it was not that I had nothing to do beside his job, because, this is an intelligent person I'm talking about. I was involved in my village Mandir administration, the youth arm of the political party, a cricket club that I headed, and the regional branch of a national cultural organization. But somehow I felt life was slipping away and I was heading to nowhere. So even though there was a period of time when I laid off the bottle, these feelings send me right back. And this is what happened. This is what we were talking about. Again, is that you would want to stop drinking, but the calling is there. You continue wanting it because your body keep asking you for some alcohol. And I find that even sometimes patients, we had to restrain. Back in the days, you restrain those clients, those patients when they misbehave, and they still fight. And in their mind, they said, listen, I want to drink. I still want to go drink. And like I said, it's very brutal to the body. It was a frightful and awful cycle that each time anyone lectured me on my drinking, what happened all the time, that increased my depression, and the cycle keeps spinning on. And like you said earlier, people don't want you to talk about this anytime they get upset. One time he ended up in the hospital with stomach ulcer, and partly due to missing meals as a result of the drinking, as well as alcohol eating on the lining of his stomach. I had no idea how I ended up in the hospital, as apparently I fainted and was taken there. But there were other incidents how I did not end up killing like anyone. He was saying that, car had to sway away from him so that they wouldn't hit him down. Can you believe that? And we see that sometimes in Guyana and here too. And so sad. For almost all my teaching days in Guyana, I rode to work on a bike. Most nights, he never know how he reached home. All he could remember is jumping on his bike and leaving for the bar, or leaving after the bar. Many times I end up spending the night at the home of a friend or relative. But when I woke up in the morning, I had no recollection of how I got there. Fortunately, it was being involved in social activism that saved me. I was elected as the president of a regional branch of the cultural organization, and in a few moments of soberness, it dawned on me that I could not be a leading spokesperson for a bunch of Mandirs and still be an alcoholic. One day, he had a Hawan on his birthday, and guess what? He has his brother was drinking during that Hawan. They was drinking vodka. Had a drink, and yes, and his brother was there, and he said that was going to be his last drink. That was in 1987, and since then, I had half can of beer after he migrated into the United States, and he had a reunion with teachers from all over the country in Guyana. But if it was not for social activism, only God knows what would have happened to me. But this I do know, no one can tell me about the horrors of alcoholism. And I've seen firsthand how many lives have been destroyed with alcoholism. And you and I know, you firsthand, you call me all the time with someone having problem with alcohol. What is your take about this letter?
First of all, thank you for sharing your story. I mean, it's very, very difficult, especially when sometimes people have to relive what they went through. But know this, at least your story might help somebody tonight, and somebody going through the same thing but don't want to tell anyone. And it's a typical story, right? Mm-hmm. You're doing very well. Usually, whomever it is, they have a job, they're doing well. And again, like we talked about last week, these might be people who are professionals who live right next door to you, and you don't know that they have this affliction. And here's a smart guy. If anybody could do willpower, it's not like he liked alcohol. He didn't like it. Why didn't he, why not use willpower? That's what some people would say, but that's not how it works. Because the disease of the mind, it tells you that you need to have it, disease of the body. And he talked about something that we didn't even touch upon. Blackouts. Mm-hmm.
It do happens.
It happens a lot, Not every alcoholic have blackouts, but I heard guys with the same story and ladies with the same story. They start driving in Bronx to go home in Queens and end up in Long Island. Like, how does that happen? Like, you don't know your way home? Mm-hmm. And sometimes, and then I talked about last week, there's this guy I know, he killed his wife. Wow. And kid, blackout. He didn't even know he did it. He got arrested. He was like, what happened? Didn't even know he did it. I heard stories from guys, who woke up in a cell. Didn't even know how to end up in a cell. So the blackout is, when people say blackout, you think they just pass out for 2 minutes, right?
Yeah.
You're walking, talking, functioning, going to a party, dancing, having a fun time, and then you wake up in the middle of a conversation with somebody and you're like, oh my God, how did I get here? And they call it missing time, right? But it's what it is. It's blackout, and that's because of the alcohol affecting your brain. You're not recording what's going on. You have no conscious knowledge of what's going on. And it could be very dangerous, not just for you, especially if you're operating a motor vehicle. It could be very dangerous for the other people. So this is something that, and people want to know, well, how come I get old and I can't remember things, or it leads to other diseases of the mind, right? It leads to other diseases of the mind, because every time you consume alcohol, it's killing brain cells. Let's not kid ourselves, all right? You don't need a doctor to tell you that. And it's killing millions and millions. The good thing about it is we have billions and billions of brain cells, so you don't go brain dead.
Yeah, it's regenerate.
It can get to brain dead. It's called wet brain, right? And we didn't even talk about that as yet. You drink to the extent where the fluid that's protecting your brain and the membrane of the brain becomes so thin that the fluid is starting. You see guys walking around talking to themselves and they're talking to people in the air. It's called wet brain. When you get to that stage, you're crazy. That you're legally insane. And this is not an uncommon thing. We probably saw people when we were kids walking around talking to themselves, and we say, "Oh, look at the crazy man." Guess what? The guy probably suffering from wet brain. So, and these are the reality of the disease, and this is what happens. The alcohol, it not only, and thank you for that story again, it not only damages your life, it affects the entire family in ways that you could not imagine. They say there's a saying that the alcoholic is like a tornado. He rips through the lives of people, and that's really what it is. It's a perfect analogy, a perfect description of what the alcoholic does. I mean, I don't know of any alcoholic who had perfect lives. Usually everyone that I know, they're losing something. They're having problems somewhere. So, I mean, and we can talk about a problem all night. because there are so many examples of it that we know of or people that we see. But at some point, we got to tell people what the solution is, and the solution is, getting to the detox.
And we will get there in just a couple of minutes. I have Miss Usha Azimola who's watching from Wisconsin. I'm so glad that we have people from all over the country and even Guyana, Suriname, Trinidad. And I want to read this. That Lena says, my ex is dying on the right now, living in a little basement. Shock it under the sink. He always drink in the night, wake up and start drinking again. So here it is. You see, she's saying, what happened to her husband, and you have to keep an eye on them. I see Dr. Sixtus Edwards is watching from Guyana. Thank you for tuning in for the first time. I hope that you continue. He is one of the stalwarts from the Caribbean Voice in Guyana. He's in charge of things there too. So welcome aboard. I hope that you continue watching us. I see Sinarine Ramdat. Thank you for watching. Sunny Narain is watching. She said, hello, good night. Who else we got? Lisa Putman, Aditya Kedarnath, Varshini is watching. Thank you guys for watching. And by the way, let me say that next week, in fact, on Friday night is Chutney Wine. I have another ticket I want to give away. So what I want you guys to do is to just put type tickets. And so I have about 3 people in the background going to read and watch who won this. And at the end, we will pull the name who win this ticket, can go and guess what, you guys will have a VIP ticket. That ticket is $40 and you will get to sit with me and my family. Okay. And I don't want to forget Fazila Rahimi. Ramin, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for the Sirni. We're going to get some song in just 1 minute and keep locking in.
श्याम सुंदर गगरी उठावे हमारे गले मोहर की माला श्याम सुंदर गगरी उठावे सुंदर गगरी उठावे हमारे गले मोहर के माला बलमा उठावे शिवाला हमारे गले मोहर के माला देवरा उठावे शिवाला हमारे गले मोहर के माला श्याम सुंदर गगरी उठावे हमारे गले मोहर के माला.
Welcome back, guys. That was the girl that sings Sham Sundar, Reshma Tiwari. And if you want to hear her sing, you have to come to Chutney Wine, and she is there. Okay, so again, if you want to win a VIP ticket, just put your name and type in I said tickets. Okay. I wish somebody would play and win this. I'm sure somebody will win it anyway. So I want to say another thing that this book that was written by Anand Budram, The Slice of Life, I would encourage you to please buy his book and read it. It's very interesting. Part of the proceedings actually will go back to the Caribbean Voice in helping people all over the country, in Guyana, actually in Trinidad, elsewhere. Proceedings will go to the Caribbean Voice. And I want to say thank you very much, Anand Budram, for doing that for the Caribbean Voice. So here it is. Now we start. Now we're gonna get into serious business. Now, if someone come in and they're drinking, Saudi, and they come to me as a nurse, this is what happens. Because of the withdrawal symptoms and the signs that they experience, it's always important to anyone who's drinking alcohol to get a supervised detox. And when I say supervised detox, that means they come into a hospital and they see a doctor. The doctor would order Librium or any other medication, would give them, like for 3 days, they will start with a high dose, like 25 milligrams, and they will taper it down to like zero. When that person, while in hospital for that 3 days, we're going to monitor them to see if they're experiencing any signs and symptoms of withdrawals. And most of the time, because we are individuals, sometimes people go through a lot of withdrawals, some people don't go through a lot. But it's always good to let them go through a supervised detox, because one of the bad things that, as you said, blackout, and people can get seizures. So we want this to happen. When they're discharged from the hospital, they put these patients like to follow-up treatment or like to AA group, and that's where I'm going to hand it over to Saudi. So after they're discharged from the hospital and they come to you guys, and may you add to Saudi, is that when they're discharged, I am not sure, but you may be able to tell me better, that they actually go weekly to AA, and then I think it's a lifetime commitment, or how they do it. Tell our audience.
Right. So again, so usually detox, they do the detox. I know sometimes the detox send people to outpatients.
Right.
Where they go for whatever amount of time of the week or whatever the case may be. I know in some cases people get to you guys through the judge. The judge
yes.
there, right? DUI, whatever the case may be. And then they're mandated to do certain classes where they need to go to outpatient detox or whatever the case may be. And then usually these places would send them to a program where they can go and get help. From what I know and the way it would work, and again, we really need that person to come in and, the public information who can speak on behalf of these people. But I'll tell you based on, some of the information that I have. You go there and you want help, you'll get help. If you want help, nobody make you go there. There's nothing that can force you to go. It's whether you want help or not. So, it's just like anything else. If you have a cold or if you have certain symptoms and you want help, you go to a doctor. If you have cancer, you take certain medication, you do your chemo, you do all of that stuff. So it's the same thing with alcoholism or whatever kind of addiction that you're suffering from, overeating, or whatever the case may be. The programs are there to help you, and they help you in the way that nobody else can, because the people that are helping you are people that suffer from the same affliction, and they're able to guide you and tell you what you need to do. Because one of the things is with the alcoholic or with anyone that suffer from any addiction is that the thinking is a little messed up, right? And I'll tell you how it works. And you can see it from people that you know in your lives, right? The guy might say, well, I'm not going to drink anymore. And then for 2-3 weeks or a month or 2 months, sometimes years, people can go. And then they go back to the drinking, right? And the reason for that is because you have no defense against the first drink. They have no capacity to say no, right? And there's 2 reasons for that. One is because the alcoholic doesn't have the capacity, the mindset to say no because he doesn't know how to. It's like somebody, you like chocolate, right? Somebody give you chocolate, like, no, I don't want chocolate, man. Not today. I'm not eating chocolate today, right?
But
Same
then
guy come tomorrow. Hey, this is Cadbury. This is English Cadbury. It's
Right.
got nuts inside. All right, I'll
I
have
like
a
that.
piece, right?
Yes.
Same thing with a person who's diabetic, right? He can't will himself not to be a diabetic. He's a diabetic because that's his condition, right? People who are diabetic,
They love to eat the sweet, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So they gotta be like, no, I can't, man. I'm a diabetic, and then you give them, well, listen, man, this is sweet rice. It come from Guyana. There was a wedding. Okay, I'll have a bowl.
And then you
right?
take plates of it.
Right, then you take a bowl home, right? So same thing, right? The alcoholic does not have that capacity in some instances to say no. So you need to build up a defense, and the way you build up a defense is you need the tools. You need the tools to help you and guide you in what you need to do and what to look for and so on. So the 12-step programs have a regiment, or they have a principles that they follow. So that's really what it's about. You go there and they guide you and they help you. They change, or they help you to change the way you think. The problem with the alcoholic is we talked about it last week. They're maladjusted to life, right? So what happens? You just talked about it, right? And the guy's letter talked about it, right? In that, you say you're not gonna drink, and then, but you don't know how to deal with everyday life. You don't know how to deal with your problems. And then 1 week go by, 2 week go by, 3rd week go by. Now the problems are piling up on you because you don't know how to deal with it. And the first thing that comes to your mind is, let me take a drink because the drink will fix all the problem. And I'll feel better, right? And then it starts that cycle again, right? So the solution is you get medical help. That's number one. If somebody who's having a problem, first ask them, do you want help? You think you had enough? Lena was talking about somebody in her life that's hiding the drink under the sink and drinking in the middle of the night, right? Every alcoholic think they're hiding. Everybody else knows they're drinking, so it's not a secret, right? If he was such a good hider of the liquor, you wouldn't know where it was, right? But first you gotta ask, do you want help? They have to accept the fact that they want the help. And I'll tell you why. The alcoholic is defined. If you make him go and get help, after 3 months, he's going to be mad at you. He's going to be mad at himself. He's going to say, I didn't do it because I want to do it. I did it because you tell me to do it. This is why the person who is suffering from the affliction needs to accept the fact that they need the help, right? And it's very simple. You just ask them. You ask them, you like the way you're living? Life is good? More than likely you're going to say yes. But wait one time, when they get really, really bad and they're falling down, then you ask them, right? Because when they're at that bottom, they talk about
Rock bottom,
right? Yeah, you talked about that. When they're at the rock bottom and things are like not good, right? That day when they spend out all their money, they have no money, they can't get to work or whatever. You ask them if they need help, and if they say yes, then you say, okay, fine. And then you help and guide them in getting help, getting them to a detox. In Queens alone, there's like Flushing Medical Center that has a detox. Cornerstone is a detox. Jamaica Hospital has a detox. And they have a psych ward, so whichever one they apply to. Queens General has a detox.
No, they closed that down.
They closed it down? Oh, shoot. Right? And then you have some other detox center. Salvation Army has a detox center and rehab center. What's the other one there under Van Wyck? Samaritan Village.
Yeah, you got Faith Mission.
Yeah, you have Faith Mission, right? If the person is a veterans, there are veterans detox center as well. So there is help out there.
Of course.
The problem is people don't know where to go. And and this is why I commend you for doing this, because One is bringing attention to the disease, and the next thing is we can't tell you what the disease is without giving you the solution of where to go and get it. So yeah, going to the detox, get them there. So first, they got to accept the fact that they're an alcoholic, and then you get them the help. So you start out with the detox first and foremost. Don't tell them to stay at home and you're gonna watch them. No, don't do that, because
it's brutal.
It's brutal, and then you're putting yourself in problem. You're putting them in, because something happened medically. You're not able.
They could fall and fracture the skull.
Right. And so you gotta be careful about this, because if a guy's drinking every day or every other day, or you're drinking such amount, when you shut it off from their system is in shock, because it's like the system is looking for that sugar and all that stuff, and if you don't get it, they go into shock. So get them the medical attention, have them taper it off in a detox, and the detox. I know. But your place, you guys tell them, right? Like you got to go to a rehab and all of that.
Yeah.
Stuff.
So if the person is struggling with alcoholism, what we do, they come in, they get a treatment. Ours is a non-medical detox. We just do like supervise. They're there. If anything happens, we send them to the hospital. Also, if they don't have nowhere to go, they're homeless, or they need long-term treatment and they're suffering for a long time, there is places upstate that you can go for like 3 months, 6 months, and sometimes some of the detox they're free. You don't have to pay. For the example, the detox that I am working at St. Christopher
which is
Inn,
for homeless men and women, actually, all the way upstate New York. They can go there, and they're monks. They're actually monks and nuns that take care of them. So it's not like they're going to a place where, it's going to be all whatever. They get a bed, they get a room, or they might have to share a room with somebody. They get 3 square meals a day. And there are certain things that are required for them to do, right? Like they have to go to
the meeting and so on.
The classes, the meetings, and the priests work with them. And these are priests who devote themselves, their lives, to helping people. Nuns who devote their lives to helping people. There are numerous places like this, unfortunately, our community do not know about it, or they don't take advantage of it. Most of the time, we would just resign to say, well, the guy's drinking, what are you going to do?
Yes.
Instead of saying, well, let's do something about it. So they go to the detox and so on.
Yes. Also, I'm so glad that the beautiful Lakshmi Singh has tuned in to my program, and it's such an honor to have you on, Lakshmi Singh. You are such a beautiful, marvelous young lady. Thank you for having me on your program, and thank you for all the things that you do for our community. Like I was telling my wife, everywhere I go, I see Lakshmi is covering something, and that's a beautiful thing. And continue to do the good things and the beautiful things you do, and how you change other people's lives. So we are friends for life, okay? Also, Sadi, your good friend Sais Chan is watching this program. I know that's your best friend.
Yes.
Yes. Let's see. My son is watching. Ken Ramprasad. Thank you, my son. I'm glad you're listening to this program. Also, again, my aunt from Hartford, Connecticut is watching. So, yes, I'm glad. Also, you know what? I'm going to put something on my page. There's a young guy somewhere I don't know if you saw it, that he's missing about a couple of weeks now. He's from Guyanese family. He went to school and never went home back again. So I'm not sure how safe he is. But go on my page sometime today or tomorrow, and you will see that I'm looking, people looking for this guy, his parents, and I could well imagine what they are going through. We can go for another song, and when we come back, we would talk about Sadi and myself. We will talk how we can help the family of alcoholics to help deal with them and to move on with life.
Bulana, 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 de, o sakine hari,
ये ससुरे घर जाना ससुरे घर जाना जाना हो सकी नहीं हर सभी बुलाना ससुरे घर जाना नहर की अब भूल गए हैं नहर की अब भूल गए हैं ससुर के अभिमानी हो अब ससुर के अभिमानी हो सखी नहर ओ सखी नहर आई सखी नहर सभी बुलाना ससुरे घर जाना ओ सखी नहर सभी बुलाना ससुरे घर जाना ये ससुरे घर जाना ससुरे घर जाना जाना ओ सखी नहर सभी बुलाना ससुरे घर जाना कोई सखी अब कोई सखी अब चलो ससुरे को कोई सखी अब कोई सखी अब चलो ससुरे को पिया बचने अभिमानी हो पिया बचने अभिमानी हो सखी नहर ओ सखी नहर आई सखी नहर सभी बुलाना ससुरे घर जाना ओ सखी नहर सभी बुलाना ससुरे घर जाना ये ससुरे घर जाना ससुरे घर जाना जाना ओ सखी नहर सभी बुलाना ससुरे घर जाना नहर की अब भूल गए हैं नहर की अब भूल गए हैं ससुर के अभिमानी हो अब ससुर के अभिमानी हो सखी नहर ओ सखी नहर आई सखी नहर सभी
That was your guy Damien Sukram singing there. And if you want to hear him sing, all you have to do is come to Chutney Wine on Saturday. Don't forget. Guess who I see just tune in? My partner in crime, Miss Shanaz Hussain. Wherever you are, my dear, I wish you a safe return home with you and your family. My friend Una Prasad is watching. Thank you for tuning in. Now we get down to some serious business. More than 16 million Americans have an alcohol abuse problem, according to data from National Institute Watchdog. But this guide is not about them. It's about the family. It's about you. How can you help an alcoholic? The definition of alcoholism presumes that alcoholics have the potential not to only ruin the lives of themselves. Again, not only do they ruin themselves, but they usually drain the people around them, along the way. Some of your actions, although with the best intentions, will backfire and fuel addict alcohol abuse. Keep these pointers in mind so that you don't unknowingly support their behavior. Now, Sadi, how they said never cover up for an alcoholic.
Right.
Like, for example, if you have a father or a mother who's drinking, don't cover for them.
Right. And I think I spoke about this a little bit last week. We tend to, especially in the West Indian community, I shouldn't say that, but I think almost every family is like that, right? If something bad is happening in the family, you tend not to want anybody to know, so you cover it up, thinking that, I'm saving them the embarrassment, I'm saving the family the embarrassment. It's really a fallacy because, look, if you're drunk, a lot of people in your street know that you're drunk. It's not going to be a secret. The harm in that is that you enable that person, right? That's when it comes into enabling bad behavior. Right? If you know your friend is getting into trouble all the time, you shouldn't tell him, well, nah, man, that's okay. It's good. You get into trouble once in a while. you're just enabling him to do that. Keep doing it, because, well, if nobody around me is telling me what I'm doing is a bad thing, then I'll just continue doing it. So it becomes an enabler. You unknowingly or knowingly become an enabler. Another way we might do it is, you have a friend that drinks a lot, or a family member that drinks a lot, and they keep running out of money, and they come to you and they say, well, give me a $50, give me a $20, give me a $5, and you keep doing that. You're enabling them. It's not like they're going to get food. You know what they're going to go do. So you're enabling that person. All right. So that's how the enabling works. So hiding somebody's, what should I say, disease, or hiding their shortcomings might not be a good thing for them. Maybe speaking to them about it might be the best thing to do. Or, we didn't talk about this, family interventions. A lot of families do that. There are shows about that, which is called intervention. If you watch A&E, if you go on A&E, there's a show. I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to shout out, please, or bring people attention to it, but there is a documentary that's called Intervention that deals with all sorts of people. There's the celebrity intervention.
Right, I remember that too. I didn't watch it in a long time.
But they deal with the reality of what the disease is. It doesn't matter how rich you are, how poor you are. So one of the things is, we're humans. We want to protect the people that we know. Of course, you want to protect your son. You want to protect your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, whatever the case may be. But in protecting them, you're actually doing a little bit of harm, in that you're encouraging them knowingly or unknowingly to continue the behavior. So if something like that is happening within your family, don't go broadcasting it out to the world. Of course, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is deal with it responsibly. And the responsible way of doing it is asking them if they need help. Don't hide it. Don't hide it. It's not doing you any good, because the more you hide it is the longer that person is going to suffer, the longer the people around him or her will suffer. So you try to get the help as soon as possible. And don't go with the old mentality, let's not tell anybody. The guy, he's only 19 years old, he'll grow out of it, or, that doesn't happen, right? That doesn't always happen. It sometimes happens because that person might not be an alcoholic or an addict or whatever, but it doesn't always happen. It might get worse. The disease of addiction always gets worse. It never gets better. It's going to get worse, and it's going to go down. There's a lot of people that you and I probably know that, there used to be nice, fine young men, and now they're not so old, they're not so young, and they're not so good anymore. And this is what we see. So just for your sake and for their sake, say something. Talk to them, get some intervention going. If you don't know how to do it, go to, maybe if you belong to a church or a religious denomination, go and ask people. Go to somebody who's closed-mouthed, who's not going to go blabbing to everybody. Go to them and say, hey, I need some help, and maybe that's how it should work. Yes.
I want to say hello to Shalini Ramotar. She is also from Guyana. You may know her or may not. That's Auntie Chalma, granddaughter from Lenora.
I know the name, yes.
Yes. So I want to say thank you for watching, my dear, and keep sharing the page. Now let's talk about, it says, do not bail an alcoholic out of jail. Leave them there. To me, that's so mean to do, but I mean, I'm just going to be the guy on the fence now asking these questions. So why you leave them there?
Well, I don't know if I agree with that one. That's a rough one. I mean, if the guy's in jail every week, yeah, maybe, it might be. And this is why the previous point comes to play. If somebody's in jail every week, yeah, maybe at some point in time you're going to say, listen, I'm done with this, because you're going to be spending money every week. Doesn't make sense. So this is why maybe have a talk with them. Like, dude, if you go to jail the next time, I can't promise you I'll be there. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It depends on the situation, right? I don't want to tell people don't help their family. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is help your family, but help them in the right way. Bailing them out of jail every other month might not be the right thing to do, because they're going to know, well, if I get in trouble, mommy's going to come and bail me out. So, hey, no consequences. Again, no consequences. And then that's the problem. Everybody wants to drink, have a great time, do whatever they want to do without any consequences. So if you keep bailing somebody out of jail every time, maybe you're the one that needs the help more than they do. Do not, I mean, that's a very loaded question.
Yes, yes.
But I mean, and I see where it might be coming from. I think it would apply in instances where people are in
Like
jail
chronic?
like every week. You know, every week you're in a fight. Every week you're trespassing. Every week, you know, the guy is public urination. Every week you're getting into a car accident. Yeah, maybe that's not a good thing to do.
Okay. So the other thing is, do not stand behind their actions.
You mean like let them face the consequences? And again, that previous question flows into this one, right? The alcoholic will continue to do whatever he does if there's no consequence. If every night he comes home late and every week he comes home with no pay and the wife is okay with it and she doesn't tell him anything, he's just going to continue to do it. Same thing with parents. I mean, parents, look, I don't know about any other parents. My parents are Guyanese, so I can tell you about Guyanese parents. They will spoil their kids. They, especially if the kid has a little bit of a problem, sometimes even more, because they think the more love they
And a
give
favorite
to them,
child.
right? Are you right? And so the more love they give to him, the better, hopefully he'll snap out of it. And that could be a detriment to the person. That could be a detriment to the person. You might love your husband and wife to the end of the world, but if they're slowly killing... Now, you got to ask yourself a question. Can you really sit there and watch somebody slowly kill themselves?
No.
Right? I can't do it.
We
I
wouldn't
don't
want
know
to
if
do
I
that.
can do that, right? So this is what you got to ask yourself. The alcoholics sometimes have to face the consequences. Maybe that's what they need to snap out of it. And if they're not facing any consequences, if they're spending out all the money, they're gambling out all the money, whatever they're doing, whatever addiction they have, and nobody's telling them anything, then for them, ain't no problem, right?
Yes, yes. Never loan them money unless it is for treatment.
But yeah, that's the thing. You loan an alcoholic money, you're probably not going to get back the money. That's the thing. Don't think of it as loan. It's usually, here's the money, pay me back. Yeah, you probably not getting it back.
I can't wait to tell you this. Sorry, a couple of years ago, when I was not so knowledgeable about addiction, I met one guy and he asked me to borrow $400. And I went and I lent him the $400, and this is about 10 years now. I have not seen that man again.
You should collect with interest. That's the thing. Right?
I have not seen that man since then, about 10 years ago.
Probably not going to see him again.
So, I've paid $400 to learn that lesson. Don't get involved in their drinking session, and especially like when you have family. And I really want you to talk about this, and I would put in my piece too, that if you know that you have a relative that's drinking alcohol, and you have a party, how do you help this person not to drink? What's your contribution?
Don't invite them.
Don't invite them.
Don't invite them. Look, I mean, my family, my family, right? Nobody drank in my family that I knew of, right? So usually, but I know people, right? Especially sometimes, they will tell you their story. They're like, my family stopped inviting me. Why did the family stop inviting? Because every time you go, you get loaded
And you
you
fight.
get in trouble.
Oh, yes,
right?
I know that,
Or
yeah.
you get loaded and you pass out, and somebody got to help you take you home, right? The best way is don't invite them. I mean, that's as simple. But then, people say, well, how are you not going to invite them and this and that? Well, then have some sort of fail-safe. So have some way of monitoring them. If you know you have a family member that has an affliction, again, it goes back to the first point. You should have a conversation with that person a long time ago before you get to the point where you don't have to invite them to your house. If you know they have an affliction, you should be helping, if you can. Alcoholic might be defiant. He doesn't care. You go tell the man, listen, let me help you. You'll be like, listen, you don't buy my liquor. You don't pay for my liquor. You don't come here and tell me what to do. So you're going to face that. So in that event, look, anyone having an event should be responsible. I don't want to say, well, just don't invite this guy. But if anybody comes to your party or whatever the case may be, and it gets to the point where it's getting raucous or getting out of hand, then you should have some, something with safety, some sort of safety standards. But when it's a family member, you got to deal with it delicately. Sometimes you don't invite the man to your house. Next thing you know, now the man has a different, oh, you don't want to invite me to your house. Well, then again, it goes back to the first point.
You don't want to be an enabler. The word is.
Well, that's the other thing. Yeah, right.
So we will bring another song for you, and when we come back, we're gonna draw the raffle. We're gonna draw the ticket. My son is gonna come bring that bag, so you guys will see whose name he pulled. I don't have anything to do with this. Okay. All right, let's go.
All right.
Are you ready for the music?
गोरी के पायलिया बाजे चना ना 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 गोरी के पायलिया बाजे चना ना 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 चना ना 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 चना ना 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 चना ना 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 चना ना 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 गोरी के पायलिया बाजे चना ना 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 गोरी के पायलिया बाजे चना ना 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 अरे चना ना 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 रे पायल के धुन सुन सखियन सवारे सखियन आए अरे धूम मचाए सखियन संग को मिलकर नाचे अरे धूम मचावे पायल बाजे पायल बाजे पायल बाजे रे चना ना 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 गोरी के पायलिया बाजे चना ना 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 गोरी के पायलिया बाजे चना ना 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 चना ना 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 चना ना 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 चना ना 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 चना ना 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 गोरी के पायलिया बाजे चना ना 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 गोरी के पायलिया बाजे चना ना 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 अरे चना ना 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 रे ढोलक दंताल हारमोनिया भी बाजे ढोलक दंताल हारमोनिया भी बाजे बाजे रे बाजे रे हेमंत के चटनी पे सारी दुनिया नाचे हेमंत के चटनी पे सारी दुनिया नाचे पायल बाजे पायल बाजे पायल बाजे रे छाना ना 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 गोरी के पायलिया बाजे चना ना 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 गोरी के पायलिया बाजे चना ना 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 चना ना 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 चना ना 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 चना ना 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 चना ना 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 गोरी के पायलिया बाजे चना ना 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 गोरी के पायलिया बाजे चना ना ना ना
That is your boy from Suriname. He met So Mai. The man can sing, and I can't wait to hear him sing in person. And here, where we're going to call my son to let's see, he's going to pull this number. Come here, Ken. Let him be on the camera. Pull the name.
Shake it up. Good.
And here it is. I'm going to watch and see. Rabindranath Boodoo from Lenora.
Oh,
The man from Lenora, Mr. Rabindranath Boodoo. Here it is. Oh, the camera is there. Oh, I don't know if you can see it there. So yes, Mr. Boodoo, you just won this ticket. So you will sit. Congratulations to all of you. And so we will try to wrap things up. We have a lot of information. Thank you very much, Ken, for doing this. So change your mindset. This is important. And we already spoke about some of this. That's what I'm going to ask you, is that if you as a family member know how to deal with an alcoholic, is going to make your life a little better. What is your take, Sadi?
yeah. I mean, here's the thing, right? So we can change people. right? So yeah, some people say, well, I'll make him a changed man, or I'll make her a changed woman, and sometimes we can't do that, or we're unable to do it. What we can do though is deal with how we handle it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's not just alcohol, right? Like you got some people, their parents or people they knew suffering from Alzheimer's disease. Now that's a serious disease, right? People can be nice and fine, and then you go tomorrow, you got to explain to them all over again, and sometimes they're not able to deal with it because it takes a psychological toll on people. So usually in those cases, get help. Again, there are programs out there. You can go to a therapist, which might cost you a little bit, or if you're working at a place that has employee-assisted therapy, EAP kind of thing, you can go and ask. Sometimes people are embarrassed to go and ask, but remember, you're dealing with professionals, okay? They have confidentiality in what they hear. Like, they're not going to go telling everybody in your office or whatever the case may be. I know some religious denomination, they have support group within the churches, or you go talk to your priest or whatever the case may be. So there are those there, and then they have the programs that are for family. Like you mentioned before, Al-Anon and stuff like that. I guess you did a lot of research there, my friend.
Well, I have to do some reading to come on the program,
Right? Yeah, so you have those kinds of programs that are out there for people, especially family members and the kids, because it does take a toll on you. And you might think you're okay, you can deal with it. That's the first thing we say. Oh, don't worry, man, I'll handle it. I got family. But listen. Again, I'm going to use the same example. It's like, if you wanna go to the gym and learn how to use the machine and get fit, you need somebody or you need some instructions. So it's good to go with people who has the same issues or dealt with the same issues that are able to help you. A good place to search is if there are community centers where you live. They usually have support groups within the community centers. If you have a family that can help you, by all means, go ahead. But sometimes it's good to get that little extra from people who can help you. Before we move on, I see this lady that's watching here. My wife, I just want to tell her belated happy birthday. I'll be home soon.
Your wife is watching now?
Yeah, she's watching now. She
What's her
never
name?
watches these things. Anila, she's up there watching somewhere. I don't know. Now, if I say her name, she's going to jump off. She's just shy. But she's watching at home. Thank you. I'll be home soon. Sorry.
Well, Anila, I want to say thank you very much for allowing him to come. He is so knowledgeable, and I know all of this from a long time ago. My sister from Canada is watching. Thank you very much for tuning in. Let's say, be rational, compassionate, and understanding as a family. It is always good to, whatever you do, to do with love. What do you think?
Yes. Look, treat the person like, and I used this example last week, and it all comes back, right? If somebody has cancer, everybody is worried for them. Everybody wants to help them, right? The problem with addiction is it's frowned upon, right? It's a social mores. It's something that it's not a social norm, right? Like nobody wants people to know that they have a family member who is a weed head, as they call it. I'm sorry for a colloquial term, but somebody who's addicted to marijuana or somebody who's addicted to cocaine or whatever. Nobody wants their family people to know that. So how do you treat them? Treat them like you would treat somebody who is sick, do the same thing. Like if somebody has cancer, you're going to go find a doctor to help them.
Right.
Right? If somebody has MS, you're going to go find a doctor to help them. If they have psychiatric problems, you're going to go to a doctor to help them. Too many times in our community, a guy's an alcoholic, everybody pushes him to the side, treat him like a beggar, treat him a different way, which is probably not the best thing to do. Again, it comes back to the communication. So if you have somebody in your family, immediate family, that's or a friend who is afflicted with these types of disease is try to treat them like you would treat any other sick person. Put yourself in their position. How would you want to be treated? It's simple humanity, all right? Don't treat them like they're less than, okay? They're not less than. They're just sick people. They're not bad. They're just sick. And you got to look at it that way. They're sick people who need to get better. So, unfortunately, it takes a little bit more than you and I might know, and they might need professional help. So, but that's how you should. So the love and kindness does go a long way.
That's right. That's right. We are close to wrapping up things. So we're going to give you another song of someone who's going to sing. Mr. Prasad, he's going to be singing on Saturday. So we're going to cut this song halfway so you could get as much information as, as necessary. Okay, let's go.
La 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 तुमने ना जाना कि मैं दीवाना लेकर आया हूँ दिल का नजराना मेरे दिल की है जो दास्तां सुनो ना सुन लो ना हम सफर मुझे को चुन लो ना सुनो ना सुन लो ना तुमने ना जाना कि मैं दीवाना लेकर आया हूँ दिल का नजराना मेरे दिल की है जो दास्तां सुनो ना सुन लो ना हम सफर मुझे को चुन लो ना सुनो ना सुन लो ना
All right, guys, thank you for coming back. Thank you for tuning in to the Mind-Body Connection. Next week, we'll be talking about child abuse, okay? So do tune in next week. Another thing, don't blame yourself for their choices. What you got to say?
Yeah, I mean, people make their own choices. You can't change somebody again. So if they make the choice to be that way, unfortunately, it is the way it is. And then just get help for yourself. Don't go beating yourself up, thinking you're the blame or whatever the case may be. This is why you have support groups for you and for your family. So.
Okay, another thing, plan what you're going to say and how you're going to confront this person. When I say confront, I don't mean to go fight.
Right.
I mean how you will deal with this problem, how you will approach, how you will approach them talking about this, because they can be very defensive.
Right. And this is where the intervention thing comes in. I would say reach out, get people who are respected in your family or the community to talk to them, have them make a promise of what they're going to do, and then you just follow through right after that. Immediately. Don't wait a week, don't wait 2 weeks or whatever. Immediately. Want to get help, go right away. Right away. Yeah.
And then also you speak from a place of compassion. And when you do that with love, it's a good thing. We will give you another song, a piece of another song, who's going to be performing. And when we come back, we can talk about lower your expectation.
Yeah, man. Well, this one going out to all my Guyanese people them all over the world. I want you to respect your country. Anytime when you talk about Guyana, you say water come in me eye. Anytime when man talk about me country, water come in me eye. Anytime when you talk about Guyana, you say water come in me eye. Anytime when man talk about me country, water come in me eye. Gonna for me one. for me country. Love Guyana bad more than New York City. Come from a GT for me own, for me country. Love Guyana bad more than New York City. Guyana is a land of many water. Our 6 races living together. In the provinces, Equibo and the Marara. So listen, but you when you hear when me utter. Says sweet Guyana, that of me land. Love Guyana bad, me say more than for me land. Guyana she produce a lot of good man. Like the man named Coffee and the Chedi Jagan. Guyana she produce a lot of good man. He say me Apache, who they wild in the Yana. When they come to burn, me leave a question. Tongue a Guyana, we got the prettiest woman. Guyana for me own, for me country. Love Guyana bad more than New York City. Come from a GT for me own, for me country. Love Guyana bad more than New York City. So put up on the one if you love Guyana. Me say shout it out if you love Guyana.
All right, guys, thank you for tuning in back again. As I said, time is going against us. So let's talk about lower your expectations. What do you really think? We should lower our expectations?
No, I mean, look, you just show them that you care. Let them know that you have their best interests at heart. And go from that angle. Try to persuade them to be independent, or try to be a better person. Pretty much go with love and care. Just show the love and tolerance that you have for them, and that it will continue through everything.
Yes, and just remind me, don't forget Concert for Hope, and I have not forget Concert for Hope, which is going to be held in New York. But next week, what we will do is that we're going to play some songs from Concert of Hope, and we will talk about them. As you can see in our that I'm showing some slides from our on this program. Last year we did, myself along with all the team, Shanaz, and then every one of us here in New York, we did a collection of stuff. We did we collect wheelchairs, cane, walker, and so on, and we sent it to Guyana. So that's what we want, people to know what we are doing, that we are not hiding anything, that it's everything that we're doing is evidence. There is evidence of what we're doing. So I want you guys to see what we're doing. If you have anything that you want to donate to the Caribbean Voice, please don't hesitate to call Annan, Shanaz, or myself, and we will definitely come and get it. And I know Shanaz does a wonderful job in packaging all these things and send them to Guyana. So our next thing, what we're going to talk about, when do you really talk to someone who is like drinking? Do you talk to them when they're drinking, or when they're sober, or when they're drunk? What's your take?
Don't approach an alcoholic when he's totally drunk. Half the time he wouldn't remember what you have to say.
Exactly.
Or he'll be belligerent. Talking to a drunk guy is like, pulling teeth. So wait until they sober up. The best thing to do, like I said before, if they had a hard night, wait until they wake up in the morning and say, hey, you think you have a problem and you need help. Don't do it in the middle of their drunken stupor, because they're not going to remember what you have to say. I mean, that's the best thing to go with. Wait until they had the worst night of their life and then try to help them. More than likely, they'll be more apt to listen to you.
All right, yes, and I see Mr. Madre, he's a good friend of the show. So he says that he have a wheelchair, a walker, and a walking stick. Guys, if you have anything, just let us know. We'll come and get it. So please, again, if you have anything that you want to donate, just feel free to call Shanaz or myself or Mr. Anand Budram, any one of us from the Caribbean Voice, and we will certainly get it. We're going to give you another short piece of song. We want to make sure we plug everybody inside.
आजकल तेरे मेरे प्यार के खर्चे हैं ज़बान पर सबको मान नहीं और सबको खबर हो गई आजकल तेरे मेरे प्यार के खर्चे हैं ज़बान पर सबको मान नहीं और सबको खबर हो गई आजकल तेरे मेरे प्यार के खर्चे हैं ज़बान पर सबको मान नहीं और सबको खबर हो गई
All right, guys, thank you for tuning in back again. So now we're going to ask Sadi to talk about, what's your next take?
Relationship.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. sometimes you think what you're doing gonna hurt the relationship, but the fact of the matter is, whoever is an alcoholic or an addict is probably affecting the relationship more based on what they're doing. So don't blame yourself for any of these things, right? You know, a lot of times we want to take the blame or we feel guilty about it. So the best thing to do is just be gentle, be straightforward, let them know that what they are doing is hurting the relationship, and let it go from there. You know, the best thing to do is talk to them first. You know.
I see Usha said if we take money, yes, we do take money. We do so much work in Guyana, and we would appreciate all the financial help that you guys could help us with. You can always go to the Caribbean Voice, and they have a PayPal account there. I know Mr. Anand Budram, he is always watching over us, and he is the man behind all of this. So I think he can put this the link on our chat box. Okay, so let's talk now. What's our next talk we're going to talk about? Don't fall for their promises. Oh Lord, you know that they always promise us they're going to stop. And guess what?
Listen, sometimes, and you know what? Here's the thing. When they make that promise, 9 out of 10 times they actually mean it, you know, Kenneth.
They do.
They do mean it. Like if you put them on a lie detector test, they will pass it because in their heart they
want to do it.
They want to do it. The problem is 2 days after they change their mind because the obsession of the liquor, the obsession of the drink, or the obsession of whatever they're having comes into play because they're going to tell themselves, and that's where the mental part of the disease come in. You know, you can will yourself to do something, and then 2 days later, you know, it's not so bad. I don't think I have that much of a problem. Since they talk to me, I think I'll cut back. You know, never stop, right? So just that's why if you talk or if you intervene and they say, I want help, do it right away.
And also, you want to talk to them when they're calm, or you do it in a calm way. Don't get upset and cause them like this, like we know how people behave, right? What do you think?
Yeah. You know, the thing is you want to curse them out because you're angry for obvious reason. You want to lash out because, you know, years of this building up. So it'll take a lot of patience, a lot of love, all the love you have, all the patience you have to make it work. So what you have to do is, you know, the problem is also sometimes is we don't know how to deal with it. All right. If we have somebody who's an alcoholic in our family, sometimes you don't know how to deal with it. And then sometimes what happens is, you know, you have a friend and they say, well, you know, maybe you should take a drink to calm down yourself. And then before you know it, you succumb to the same thing. You're drinking and now you're drinking because you don't want to deal with the other person drinking. And before you know it, all of a sudden you get caught up in that. So you just got to be careful. This is why we need help. This is why we need the programs.
And don't become a codependent. Don't get so involved in the process. You know what? Like you are dragging yourself in the mud with the person who's drinking.
Right. Because you get emotional. People get emotional, and emotional attachment, the family attachment. This is what happens. You know?
Okay, so now we're going to go to another song, a piece of another song.
Chana na 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 nazara, chana na 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 nazara, chaturang ko gaye rasa, rang ko sunaunga main, chaturang ko gaye rasa, rang ko sunaunga main, Rajinder ji majuma, Rajinder ji majuma. Jana na 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 nazar, jana na 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 nazar, chaturang ko gaye ras, rang ko sunaunga main, chaturang ko gaye ras, rang ko sunaunga main, Rajinder ji majuma. Na na na
Sadi, I see your cousin is watching, Mr. Raymond Hamid from all the way from Virginia. Thank you for tuning in. Your little cousin is doing good. In fact, I told him today that you're going to be on, and he told me that, you know what, you will learn all these things from him.
True, very true.
I said that your cousin is very knowledgeable in all the things that we're going to talk about. So kudos to him. So let's talk. We're going to talk about avoid becoming a codependent, right?
Yeah. So here again, we wanna stress this because sometimes you get all of these problems hanging on, right? Like, say for example, if it's the wife, the husband is drinking, but the wife has to deal with paying the bills, taking care of the kids, getting the kids to school, whatever the case may be, and that could be an immense pressure, especially in our society in the United States, especially in New York. Let's put it that way, right? You got to get the kids to school by 8. You got to get in the train. You got to get to work. You got to come home. You got to cook. Got to do this, right? Because you have a husband who is not there because he's drunk all the time, or vice versa. You could have the husband who is doing this, and what happens is after a while it tells a toll, and you don't know how to deal with it. You don't know how to handle it. You have no escape. You have no one to talk to because you don't want to talk to the family because now they're going to know the wife is drinking all the time. Well, how am I going to tell them my wife, or how am I going to tell them my husband is drinking? So what do? I'll tell you what you do. You buy a bottle and you keep it at home, and then when the kid's gone to sleep, you might take a drink. And then one drink leads to 2 drinks. And before you know it, you're drinking yourself to sleep because now you have the pity thing going on, right? I can't deal with it, all this stress. I can't talk to nobody. And then before you know it, you get sucked down the rabbit hole. And now the poor kids have 2 parents who have the same issue.
Wow,
or you might be able to manage it a little bit, but still it's the same thing, right? Try not to get into that situation. Talk to somebody before you get there. Don't get there.
Liz, thank you very much. I'm reading all your comments, but sorry, I can't respond to them because what happened, we are running on time. Also, I want to tell you guys, Concert for Hope here in New York is going to be July the 13th, 2019 at 9 p.m. And next week, I'm going to highlight this more. So please, again, don't forget to highlight, and all the proceeds of this go to the Caribbean Voice so we can really do some good job in Guyana and elsewhere. We're going to play another song that our DJ has set up for you. Also, I want to say our DJ is a young man. He's about 18 years old. And his birthday is coming up shortly. He's been playing all these songs for us. I know I pressure him sometime that we get this thing together. But, we have to get it right. And I expect a lot of things when we are coming on this program to make sure it's right. So sometimes, I'm a little serious and you know what I'm saying. But, I say,
birthday.
Thank you very much and happy birthday. Thanks for all of your support to make this a reality. He played the music every week for us. And here he's going to start play another song. I'm going to dedicate this song to him, actually.
Yeah,
play it for yourself.
Yeah, there you go.
Mr. Wayman, that nation, yeah. To the world. Mohan ki muraliya baaje, sunte se jiya pe more lage. Here we go. Hey. Mohan ki muraliya baaje, sunte se jiya pe more lage. जब चैन से जब चैन
All right, all right. That's a beautiful song. Like I said, I didn't realize it's after 10 now. We're going to close with this last and final topic. Be prepared to get professional involved. You don't have to do this all by yourself. So take it away, Sadi.
Yeah, I mean, look, most of the time, you know, if it's a husband or a wife, you have kids, you invested a lot in that relationship. You try to get professionals involved before you throw up your hand and just give up. This is why communication is important. If it's a brother, sister, or son, or something to that, someone to that effect, get them help. The quicker you get professional help, the better it will be. Don't think it's, you know, well, it's a young guy, you'll grow out of it, or it's a young lady, she'll grow out of it. You could be wrong, supposing they don't grow out of it. So the best thing to do is have that communication, get the professional help. If you can't afford professional help, there are free places.
Free.
You can go to your local church or community, see who are in there. You might be surprised. You go to church and say, I have this problem. There might be somebody there who's a therapist who might be able to help.
Exactly,
or they can put
so.
you onto somebody.
Or they could navigate help for you, you
Right,
know.
yeah. Don't try to do it on your own. That's the worst thing. I shouldn't say it's the worst thing, but you might not have you don't have the skills. You don't have the necessary skills to handle somebody that is going through this. So they might need that kind of help.
So, guys, we're going to wrap things up here. And I want to say, on behalf of the Caribbean Voice, we want to say thank you very much for watching this program. I see Liz Putman says that this is her first time that she's watching our program. It's very helpful and educational. I want to say thank you very much for tuning in to our program. I hope that you continue to watch our program and to please tell your friends about this program. I also want to tell my friend here on my right, Sadi Hamid, how thankful we are to have him on this program. He is a very knowledgeable guy. On behalf of the Caribbean Voice, we would like to say thank you so much for coming on to this program. I know this is not the end of you coming here to the Caribbean Voice studio, but we will always use you sometime or the other. And I want in my mind to be very honest with you, Sadi, is to have a good roundtable discussion about this very important topic. I know you and I have seen so much of our Indo-Guyanese patient around Richmond Hill and coming to my detox program. So I want this to be a nice discussion. Once again, everyone, I say thank you very much, and I hope that you guys are going to support Chutney Wine 2019 on Saturday. I want to say thank you very much too to Ms. Shanaz Hussein. I hope everything is fine with you. Thank you. I think we did well tonight, all right? Thank you, guys.
It was a humbling experience. Thank you guys for inviting me. Thank you.
Until such time,
Yes,
do
sir.
have a very pleasant night, everybody, and good night.
Thank you.